white nationalists, white supremacists, or whatever you want to call this terrorist, Richard Clayton of Florida, stated on social media 3 more days of probation and he gets his AR-15 back. And he also stated, don't go to Walmart next week. Now, that's a clear intention of what he's going to do. Well, they did arrest him, which they should have, especially in the wake of what happened in El Paso, Texas. 22 people killed. 2 more died a few days after the incident, and it was at a Walmart. The thing is, the FBI, he was caught by Florida law enforcement, Richard Clayton, don't forget the name, white identity extremist, as I call him. The FBI is fixated on black identity extremists. This is a new term. They deem anyone speaking out on the issues that affect Black America, the murder of unarmed Black people, just the discrimination that we face on the daily, the soft racism, the hardcore racism that we face. Anyone that speaks out on that, according to the FBI, is a black identity extremist. This is what they're fixing. The term is new. The motivation is not. The FBI, since Marcus Garvey, well, of course, there wasn't an FBI during Marcus Garvey's time, but longtime FBI director J. Edgar Hoover got his start taking down Marcus Garvey, whom he considered a terrorist. Of course, he considered any black person who spoke out on our issues, who tried to change our social condition, a terrorist. He hated Martin Luther King Jr. to the extent that he tried to force him to commit suicide by putting out these tapes that, Martin Luther King Jr. was having affairs or whatever. J. Edgar Hoover, of course, was a frothing at the mouth, extreme racist. So the FBI are focusing their attentions on what they term black identity extremists. This is a long-held tradition for them to go after black activists, whom, as I said, they now term black identity extremists. Now, here's the thing. They are not going after these white terrorists, these white nationalists, white supremacists, these terrorists who have been shooting up schools. Oh man, now this has been going on for quite some time now. Since the ban on assault weapons have been lifted. They've been on a mission. And here's the thing though. Banning assault rifles is not going to stop white nationalists, white supremacist terrorists. Timothy McVeigh did not shoot anyone. He blew up a federal building. Now, a lot of people say, well, it seems like a lot of the victims of these white nationalists, terrorists, are white. Yeah, that's true. But I'm going to tell you why. Because to them, a lot of white people are not on code. And what they're doing is thinning the herd. If you're not on code with white supremacy, you're as much of an enemy to them as any black person. If you're race mixing or, speaking out for equality as a white person, you're considered the enemy. Don't forget the term nigger lover. Next to being a nigger to a white supremacist, that was the worst thing you could be. and they would lynch you just as quick as they would a black man. They would lynch a white person who they deemed a quote unquote nigger lover. They would lynch them quick. You wonder why the FBI is fixated on these black identity, so-called black identity extremists. The idea that they're actually terrorists is all in the FBI's imagination. And as D.L. Hughley said, the worst place a black person could live is in a white person's imagination. It's a dangerous place to be, obviously. There's really no such thing as a black identity extremist. It's bullshit. I'm Patrice Gibbs. Join me on the Open Eye, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 95.3 FM. The Open Eye, more than radio.